Did you know hidden deep in the forests of Zaire is a Tsuchinoko? By going to the northwestern parts of Lufa Valley and planting animal cages in the river of this beautiful area, you'll have a very small chance of catching this rare animal. The Tsuchinoko is a flat-bellied snake from Japanese folklore that hasn't been proven to exist yet, which is why Ocelot reacts like this.
Is that a Tsuchinoko? No one's ever caught one before. Boss, you just made the discovery of the century.
But he's actually wrong, because in MGS3 you can also find it by grabbing a bunch of mouse cages from Bolshaya past base and placing them all around the South Province. And once you lose all your gear in Grozny Grad, going just outside that waterfall where you meet Eva, you can find it again crawling around on the floor. Plus, finishing the game with this snake in your inventory will unlock the Infinity Face Paint, which comes with the infinite ammo effect, so keep this in mind for Delta. In fact, a lot of MGS5's coolest features are shared with other MGS titles, especially from Snake Eater and Peace Walker, like... Across different Metal Gear games, you can find posters of models hiding around the map. Tapping this one in MGS2 will make different sounds. And Otacon can interrupt Snake for staring at it for too long.
What do you think you're doing, Snake? You don't have enough to keep you busy?
But in MGS5, these kinds of posters can be put on cardboard boxes, which the player can use to distract enemies. Plus, if you're far away enough, using the soldier posters can trick enemies into thinking you're an ally. But again, this doesn't work if they're right next to you. The reason why the idle posters are so useful is because they can work on multiple soldiers at once, making the cardboard box the ultimate punishment for slacking off at work. Compared to older MGS titles that really limit your abilities inside the cardboard box, the Phantom Pain's box utility is a lot higher, allowing the player to use a wide variety of movement types without having to leave it, as well as temporarily opening it to either throw grenades or fire at enemies. The cardboard box also has a few different skins that help the player camouflage in different terrain, but after taking off all delivery tags on the fast travel system I mentioned in my last video, you'll unlock a new set of boxes with unique effects, like the smoke box that explodes once enemies inspect it, and my personal favorite, the waterproof box. Usually in wet weather or terrain they start to deteriorate, but with this cutting edge in technology it allows you to even crawl in rivers without the box getting damaged. But these don't compare to Peace Walker's boxes. Because Peace Walker has online multiplayer, you can fit 2 people inside a cardboard box, making their abilities co-op focused. The rescue box, that looks like an ambulance, can revive downed allies without having to use CPR. Meanwhile, the love box, well...
Ooh, got room for 2?
And although Peace Walker has different variations of boxes that explode upon inspection, nothing comes close to the tank box, which uses 2 players as a driver and gunner respectively. The tank box can shoot lethal rounds at enemies like a real tank, or non-lethal smoke, stuns, or sleeping gas respectively. This box is so revolutionary that even Big Boss was amazed.
Hold on, Kaz. Who the hell came up with this thing?
I'm sorry, boss. He meant well, I swear.
It's brilliant!
By unaliving important characters in the Phantom Pain and Snake Eater, you'll get unique game over screens. One of the most famous is when you knock out Ocelot in the beginning of MGS3. Using a lethal weapon on him will cause Colonel Campbell to say you created a time paradox. Plus, waiting on Naked Snake's game over screen will also eventually change it to time paradox as well. The same goes for failing the main mission in Ground Zeroes, and funny enough, in the Phantom Pain, taking out Ishmael also shows this screen. Unaliving Huey, Kaz, Eli, and even Ocelot in the helicopter of Mission 29 will also play unique codec calls.
You just killed Ocelot. Boss, they're just kids. What did you do?
What the hell, boss? Why did you kill him?
The target's dead. Mission failed.
Boss, did you come all this way just to kill him?
Boss, you had something against Miller?
And although Code Talker's death only results in a game over screen, for whatever reason the game always shows his mangled body for a few seconds, which looks hilarious. There's a mystery revolving around what happened to Snake's bandana. Originally, this belonged to the boss, before Naked Snake managed to snag it from her as he fell off the bridge in the Virtuous Mission. He kept wearing the bandana in Operation Snake Eater and through the events of Peace Walker some 10 years later. It wasn't until the boss's AI, through the mammal pod, laid down her weapon and drowned herself, that Snake threw away her bandana and declared himself as her true successor, Big Boss. But in the next chapter, Snake is seen wearing the bandana again, while in Ground Zeroes he doesn't have it anymore, which makes more sense. Now, I think the devs just didn't have enough time to create another model of Snake without his headpiece, since there isn't a customization without one. But in the Phantom Pain, after completing Side Up 143, where Snake goes back to Huey's lab in Afghanistan to recover Peace Walker's AI pod, the boss's bandana was found inside and becomes a wearable item. Plus, its description says it was salvaged from Lake Nicaragua. So, was this actually found with Strangelove's corpse in the AI pod, or is this a figment of Venom's imagination? Although MGS5 gives players a head customization option, Snake only has the boss's bandana and its Infinity variant, giving players unlimited ammo. And the MSF soldiers get the balaclava reminiscent to those in Peace Walker. Even though the game shows us different accessories like the goggles Snake wears on the game's cover art and in the beginning of the game, it only appears around his neck on the leather jacket costume. Which is a shame, since MGO does give us some extra head customizations, but it's only exclusive to online and they can cost real money. And although Peace Walker only had the metal bandana, MGS3 was famous for having a lot of face paint that sadly weren't ever reused in future titles. With the exception of MGO once again, but it doesn't really count. But there is a few secret hats you can unlock. If a player's having trouble with a mission, the game will give you the option to use the chicken hat. This hat prevents enemies from detecting the player. Enemies will even pretend like they didn't see anything in a sarcastic way, which is just the best thing in the game. You can get detected up to 3 times before the hat disappears. But many players don't know if you die using the chicken hat a couple of times, you'll unlock the little chick hat, which is a lot stronger than the previous version, turning Snake completely invisible from enemies, but they can still hear you. Even if you interact with them, they still won't go to alert status since they can't see anything, which can lead to some hilarious moments. To my knowledge, little chick hat only lasts for the mission or until you go back to the ACC, but still a cool feature. Snake's iconic olive drab from Snake Eater was carried over to Peace Walker and even the Phantom Pain with little changes to its design. But as seen in a tweet from Kojima, because olive drab field uniforms and camouflage weren't very popular with people, they decided to make the plain uniform fashionable by giving it multiple different patterns, colors, and the face paint option mentioned earlier, while also tying it in with the camouflage system of the game. Peace Walker also continued this theme with a camouflage meter and multiple different designs, as well as the Phantom Pain, thanks to its additional content through FOBs. It also has a camouflage system, but it's just hidden from the player. In fact, Peace Walker and the Phantom Pain share a lot of the same colors from the basic uniforms, which is pretty cool. And some of them are even inspired off those introduced in Snake Eater. And although I usually choose the basic olive drab with so many colors and patterns, let me know which one's your favorite. MGS5's gameplay is a culmination of ideas Kojima always wanted to implement in previous titles from the Big Boss era. For example, in MGS3, Snake was told to extract Sokolov with the Fulton recovery system.
A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system.
According to the wiki, a more detailed demo on how it works was included in the game before being cut out. Kojima was apparently referencing the James Bond movie Thunderball, where they used it at the end of the film. But the Fulton recovery system was later included in Portable Ops and became a core part of expanding Mother Base in Peace Walker. Plus, developing Mother Base platforms in Peace Walker was tied to certain units leveling up, capping at around 20 platforms in total and a maximum of 350 units. But in the Phantom Pain, you can manually create up to 5 FOBs with 28 platforms each, and physically go down to visit each of the unit's struts and set up defense for other rival PFs. Also, when you dispatch on a mission in Peace Walker, you hear this. While in the Phantom Pain, you actually have to wait for deployment in the helicopter at the start of every mission or when moving back to Mother Base. Not to mention other features like rescuing animals and the shower system, which will actually cause enemies to react to Snake if you haven't taken a shower in a long time. In the first mission rescuing cars, you can overhear Soviet soldiers talking about the recent rumors of a man with a horn that fights like he's possessed by a demon. What's crazy is that Venom arrived in Afghanistan only a few days prior, but they say he's already taken down a lot of Soviet soldiers, suggesting that the canon version of the character is cursed to become an evil war criminal despite the game giving the player the option to be a pacifist. Which is why with every major event, Snake's horn seems to grow longer, and eventually being completely covered in blood after leaving Eli to get napalmed in Mission 51. But there's another hidden secret in Kaz's mission that you definitely missed. Find out more in this video here.